This is a 2022 BMW M4 Competition. It might not look like one at the moment, but we'll soon change that. Only about a month ago, I bought this BMW M4 from Copa Salvage Auction, hoping to fix it. It was a huge financial risk for me, as it wasn't just damaged at the front, the rear, the interior, but also listed as a non-runner. There are a lot of reasons a crash damaged car might not start, and one of them is a seized engine. But in the last video, we found out it was just a fuse causing it not to start. After knowing it was mechanically sound, I started to strip the car off all the damaged parts, starting from the dashboard, dismantled the front end, and after a whole day of sanding, drilling and cutting, I got the damaged quarter panel out. Our mission for today is to install the new quarter panels, realign them and weld them on. Then we'll continue to the front end. We'll install all the new second-hand parts and hopefully get them ready for paintwork. So you might remember from the last video, this part had a little crease in there, this inner wheel arch. It has been fully repaired, as well as this part here, this inner piece. This had a little dent in there, it has been fully repaired. I mean, there is no point at replacing the whole thing, the whole inner section, just because of this little dent. And that goes with this as well. If I wanted to replace this, I had to take this whole side out, and this little crease is not worth swapping the whole piece out. First off, I'll start by positioning the new rear box section and use pliers to hold it in place ready for welding. And once happy with the alignment, I begin to spot weld the section to the car. Right guys, now that this is fully welded on, it's nice and flush. The next part I'll be going on is the quarter panel. But before I fit the quarter panel on and realign it, I will need to cut this part off of the new quarter panel so it doesn't scratch this. It's just extra bit, I only need it up to there. Using angle grinder, I cut the unwanted part off and then lift the panel in place. So guys, the quarter panel is temporarily on. I've used some clamps to secure it in place, and if I shut the door and show you guys, the alignment is almost there. It's almost looking perfect, but it's not 100% just yet because this is still overlaying and I still need to cut this flush. But before I do that, I need to get the tailgate on and align the rear end as well, rear quarter to the tailgate before I do any cuts. That's right, before I make the final cut, I need to make sure everything lines up perfectly. Like the saying goes, measure twice, cut once. So guys, the alignment is looking great already from both sides of the tailgate. And by the way, I've already repaired the tailgate. It's nice and flush, nice and straight. But the car needs to be on 4 wheels before I do any more alignments and do a final cut on the quarter panel. Guys, change of plans. I did say I was gonna put this car on 4 wheels, but before I do that, while the wheel is off, I am gonna change this arm here. As you can see, it's bent. I have bought that already. So let's quickly change this, and then I'll drop in 4 wheels and we'll go from there. To remove this is quite straightforward. I undo the bolts on both ends and remove it off the car. And when compared to the new one, you can see how bent it is. I then position the new one in place and bolt it back up, and we'll leave the final adjustment to the full wheel alignment shop. I'll now put the tyre back on and drop the car down. So guys, the M4 is finally taking some shape. It's looking great. It is on all 4 wheels. I did change the one bent arm and the wheels looking nice and straight now. Keep in mind, I will take this in for alignment after the car is fully done, but now I will go ahead and make the final cut on this panel and make this line nice and flush, ready for welding. So yeah, let's get cutting. I'll first mark off where I'll be making the cut using masking tape and then begin cutting it for the final time. So guys, I've made the final cut. The panels are nice and flush, and now I'll take this off, get it ready for welding, and put it on for the last time and get it welded. I now need to sand the edges of the area where both panels will be welded together, and then go ahead and drill some holes on the quarter panel for spot welds. Right, the quarter panel is finally ready to go onto the car. I have drilled some holes for the welding, and I've also sanded the bits where it's going to be welded to the car. I have used the panel bonding glue for the arches, that's what the factory uses. And yeah, let's get the quarter on before the glue dries. Guys, it's finally time to get this welded once and for all. Once again, the lining looks perfect at the front and at the rear. The car's on 4 wheels, so there's no uneven stress on the chassis. So yeah, let's get this welded on. And now finally, I'm gonna go ahead and weld the quarter panel to the car. When welding panels on any car, it's a good idea to cover up the interior and the glass of the car. The sparks from the welds are small molten metals being thrown around, and they will burn through the fabrics of the interior and will stick to the glass and leave them ruined. Guys, I'm almost done with the welding. The only piece that's left that needs doing is the rear piece, which I'll get into that very soon. But for now, let me just show you my welding job. This is actually my first time doing any welding on any car, and I don't think that turned out that bad, to be honest. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. So anyways, let's get that welded on and then we'll continue from there. It's exactly the same procedure with this rear section piece. I mark it, I cut it, I clamp it, and I weld it. There it is, guys, the final piece to the puzzle. The quarter panel has finally been all welded up. You might remember from our last video, I did have to remove some of the seam sealers from here to reveal all the spot welds. And now I'm going to try to get seam sealer and cover all these up again and make it as factory as possible. These are the seam sealers from the factory on the driver's side, and I'm going to try my best to make it look as close to these as possible. And the main function of the seam sealers are to not let any water get into the car. So I'm going to go for the function rather than the looks. It's not just the spot welded areas that needs to be sealed up. It's all these gaps that you see here. All of these gaps, they all need to be sealed up. So basically our goal here is to get these panels watertight. I first used brush to get the seam sealer in all the cracks, and went ahead and used a special nozzle on the caulking gun to give it the factory wavy effect. And here are the results. So it's been a couple of days since our last clip where we sealed all the gaps on the panels, and now I'll be putting the bumper, the brackets, everything back together just for the last alignment check. And then after that I will be working on the interior. I have received the dashboard on the airbag kit. They have done an amazing job on this. Exact same material as the original. Nice and smooth. And let's get the back out the way first, then we'll be moving on the interior. And now I'm going to reassemble the rear bumper. But before I do that, I need to bolt the brackets on, bolt the crash bar, the rear bracket, then assemble the tail lights, and finally goes on the bumper. Guys, I know it's in 3 different colors right now, but it still looks amazing. I've done the alignment, but as you can see, this side has got a little bit bigger gap than this side. And I think I know how to fix this. There is a small bracket on this side which can be adjusted. So I'll have to get the bumper off and adjust that, then put the bumper back on, and hopefully that sorts it out. So I partially removed the bumper and bolted this little bracket slightly higher to close in the gap between the bumper and the tailgate. There it is, guys. The gaps are looking perfect on both sides and at the bottom as well. All I did was adjust that little bracket there, and that fixed all the issues. I'll go ahead and start the interior and reassemble everything, starting with the dashboard. And in we go with the dashboard. I start by bolting it to the car and try to remember where each bolts go, or I'll end up with a squeaky dashboard. The dashboard is fully bolted onto the body, and now, just like we disassembled the dashboard like a puzzle piece, we'll put everything back on just like a puzzle piece. So yeah, let's start with the center console first, then we'll work our way to the rest of the dashboard. And it's not just the bolts that I need to remember where they go. I also need to remember where all the panels and trims go, as well as the order they go in. And if I miss something, it could cause me a lot more trouble later on. So I've bolted the center console, now goes in the cup holders. Now I'm going to plug in the gear switch and bolt it up. Then goes on the surrounding trims. Finally came time to put on the armrest storage tray, and I have to remove the back panel again to position this in place. I then move on to the instrument cluster. I plug it in and bolt it up. Then goes on the iDrive screen, the switches, back on with the air vents, then the steering column trims, and finally the steering wheel itself and the airbag. Guys, the dashboard is almost complete, and let me tell you, this is one of the best looking interior in my opinion, especially the carbon fiber trims and the red buttons. To complete the dashboard, all I have to do is install the knee airbag and the footwell trims. Then after that, I'll move on to the roof lining and the curtain airbags. Now I'll quickly bolt up the knee airbag and goes on the footwell trim. Then put on the passenger side trim, and then I can continue to the curtain airbags. I bolt the curtain airbag to the roof of the car and clip the rest in place. Then I continue the same procedure on the passenger side. Airbags in place, and now move on to the roof lining. I barely got in through the door, plug the wirings in and position the lining in place. Then continue to put the pillar trims on and bolt them and the sun visor in place. I now move on to the seat belts. I position it in place and bolt it on, and then goes on the side trims. And I do the same thing on the passenger side. I put the parcel shelf and the trims back on, and finally it's time for the seats to go back in. First the rear, then lastly it goes in the front carbon fiber seats. Hey guys, so first of all, I do apologize because of my voice. I have lost it quite a bit due to catching a flu, but there is no time to complain and there is no time to sit around because I need to finish this car for the summertime and enjoy it while it's still summer. So anyways, as you can see, I have all the parts here. Pretty much everything is there to complete the front end, and my goal for today is to assemble everything on the front end and get ready for the paint job. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get cracking. So our first mission for today would be to replace this air duct here because it's missing the upper part. And for some of you guys, it may seem like an easy job, but it's not, because I have to get the reinforcement bar out first to get to that. But in order to get the reinforcement bar out, I have to remove the side radiator and the radiator bracket, and I think I might need to get the headlight out as well. So yeah, it's not as easy as it seems, but we'll get through it. A lot of the new performance cars have these air ducts to guide cold air to the radiators, intercoolers and to the brakes to keep them cool. And today I'll be replacing the main radiator duct. I'll start off by jacking the car up and then remove the wheel and the wheel arch liner. Then I get the radiator out the way to get to the reinforcement bar bolts and remove them. I've removed all of them parts, and the reinforcement bar still doesn't want to come out. So I believe there's only one bolt that's left that's holding it. It does move, I mean it does budge around, but it's not fully getting out. There's one 13mm bolt right there, I don't know if you can see, right there. I have to remove that in order to get this out, but there's no way I can get any socket, any spanner to that there. Even if I can get a spanner around that bolt, there's not enough space for that bolt to come out, so I don't know what to do. I think I'll get the headlight out first, see if this headlight bracket comes out with this, so I don't even need to have to get that out. I'll now undo the bolts for the headlight and remove it as it's holding the headlight bracket to the inner wing. Then I remove the lower bumper support, which allows the reinforcement bar to come out. So yeah guys, the bracket did come out with this, and that's as far as I'm gonna get this out. I think that's more than enough for this piece to come out and for the new piece to go in. Now lastly I removed the radar sensor, and out came the broken duct. And in with the new one. And then I continue to reassemble everything back together. Back goes the reinforcement bar, the radar sensor, the side radiator, on with the driver's side headlight, and finally the wheel. There it is guys, the air ducts is finally in, and that was probably one of the stupidest and one of the fiddliest jobs I've ever done on this car so far. It wasn't easy, but I've managed to get it in. So anyways, now it's time to get the auxiliary radiator on. That's the new radiator, of course, full aluminium. So yeah, let's get that on, and then after that I'm gonna be putting on the headlight bracket and everything else. Alright, finally going to install all the new parts on the left side, starting with the new side radiator. Then it's air duct, and now the headlight bracket. But I have to remove the radiator again to tighten the bolts for the bracket and back on with the radiator. I then continue to bolt on more brackets and braces. And lastly, the bumper support. Right, so guys, that was the last piece of the front panel, and now we can finally get this headlight fitted. These are brand new modules, which is just for DRLs, and that's the main module which I've got a brand new second hand, and it's not original. That's the thing, it's not original and it will need programming. So yeah, let's get this fitted on, and still hope for the best that it works and I don't need any programming, but I still doubt it. So yeah, let's get this on. It doesn't work. So anyways, not a problem, we'll get it programmed after, obviously, when the car is finished. But right now, let's get the wing, the bonnet, the bumper on, complete the front end and get ready for a paint job. So yeah, as expected, the headlight modules does need programming. So with the headlight out the way, I now bolt on the wing. Then I left the bonnet in place and bolt it tight. And lastly, I installed the bonnet catches and did some adjustments to align the bonnet to the wings. There it is, guys. After a few small adjustments, the gaps are looking perfect, as you can see. The bonnet, the headlight, and on the driver's side as well, they're both looking perfect, and it cannot get any better than that. It's finally time to get the bumper on and finish this piece. And now, before I put the bumper on, first I installed the inner brackets. The brackets are on. That's the new one, and that's the one that I've transferred over from the broken bumper, and now it's ready to go on the car. There it is, guys. I've put the bumper on, and the gaps are looking perfect. The top looks perfect, the side looks perfect, the headlights, the gaps are just perfect. The first time around. I'm only joking, guys. It took me around half an hour to fix the gaps, and I've also bolted everything on the sides, the top, everything on. And now that the alignment's out of the way, and I've got the auxiliary radiator in, what I'll do is fill it with the coolant the old-fashioned way, and hope that it self-bleeds like most cars do, and it doesn't leave any air bubbles in the radiator system. I will keep it monitored, and if it doesn't work, then I'll drain it back out and I'm gonna go get a vacuum pump and do it properly. Okay, guys, we have added the coolant, and I don't see any obvious leaks, so that's a good sign. And that's the coolant I've used. It's BMW approved, and it's concentrated, so I've added around 60% of that and 40% of water. So yeah, let's get this started, get it up to temperature, and yeah, hopefully it doesn't leak. Yeah, about that sound, I still need to get the exhaust swapped out. So guys, the car's been running for about an hour, and it's been up to temperature for the last 20 minutes. And right there, as you can see, it's been up to temperature for the last 20 minutes, and it hasn't moved since. It hasn't been going up or down, so I think that's a win. So yeah, let's get this turned off, get it cooled down, then after that I'll be changing the exhaust system. Okay guys, now that we know the cooling system is sound, there are no leaks, and the car gets up to temperature without any issues, I will go ahead and jack the car up and pull the remainder of the exhaust system out. Once jacked up, I noticed the under tray was missing a bunch of its bolts, so I removed the remaining bolts, and out comes the under tray. Then I get access to the cats and the exhaust. I undo the bolts from the cats, then from the middle bracket, and lastly I remove the rear brace to get the exhaust out. And I continue to remove the cats, as they seem to be already falling out. So yeah, I don't know why the previous owner has done this, but the under tray was held on by a few bolts. Then plastic bits were completely loose. This is what's left of the exhaust system. It's missing the back box. It was barely held on by a few bolts, and the downpipes. The main issue here, the downpipes did not have any clamps. So when I heard the loud noise when I started the car, it was because of them. It didn't have any O2 sensors, and it was missing the clamps. On top of that, it's missing these seals that goes around the downpipes to the exhaust. It's missing one, but the other one is really badly damaged. I don't know how they've managed to do that, but yeah, I'll need to order them seals and also the O2 sensors. And so guys, while we wait for them parts to arrive, I will get this car sent off to the paint shop and get it resprayed. And the next time you see this car, it's going to be all in one color. So here it is, the BMW M4 Competition in all its glory, and I still cannot believe we turned it from this to this beautiful beast. So after the paint job, I got the windscreen changed. I got these carbon bits fitted onto the bumper, which just looks beautiful. And I got some spaces fitted onto the wheels, and it just makes it look a little bit wider. And it was already lowered from the previous owner. And the other bits I did was fit in the exhaust system and put these golden carbon tips, which basically matches the front headlight as well. I think looks really good. And I've made some small touches on the car as well, such as the latching on the tires, and also the normal plate holder at the bottom, which just makes the car look so much better. Hope you enjoyed this rebuild as much as I enjoyed rebuilding the car, and stayed with me throughout the whole journey. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you next time.